Well, we've all learned the hard way that if you try and fix everything in one visit, it never works out very well because the patients end up ghosting you, they burn out, or they don't even get results from the very beginning and they just give up. But in this episode, I'm going to show you a new way to think about how to create the protocols for them that are staged out in a month-by-month fashion. This helps to keep you organized and it gives them a clearer roadmap and plan for what you have coming up in the months to come. So I'm also going to give you an AI prompt that's going to change the way that you do this, and it's going to save you a ton of time. Let's go. This episode is amazing. Welcome to the Clinical Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Rhonda, your no-fluff, tell it like it is business bestie for wellness practitioners just like you who want to build a practice you love and make a bigger impact and a little money while you're at it. So if you're ready to ditch the overwhelm, attract your dream, ideal patients, and finally run your practice with complete confidence, you're in the right place. Each week, we're tackling things from programs to patient retention to marketing strategies that actually work, sprinkled, of course, with a little sass, a lot of heart, and the step-by-step strategies that will help you get there. So grab your cup of coffee, your notebook, or whatever keeps you going, and let's build a practice you love and a life you love together. Well, hey friend, welcome back to the show. I'm glad you're here. Today I wanted to talk to you about creating a monthly plan for your patients. And this is why I've done podcasts before where I've talked about like creating a journey map, which is great, but it does require a little bit of time and you have to kind of go into Canva and open up the document, etc. And so I've been thinking about this, how I can do this. How can I do this and make it simpler? I'm always thinking, how do I make it easier for myself, but also make it so that it's a win for the patient. So I'm going to give you some context first as to like how I kind of came across this idea and how it's worked. And so then maybe you might like to do it as well. So we're going to talk about how to build this out on a month-to-month basis. So here's the scenario. Here's what happened. So I have a very good friend who is chronically ill. And he is fatigued, like bone kind of fatigue all the time. They blamed it on Lyme. They blamed it on mold. They blamed it on all kinds of things. There's some emotional stuff. There's all kinds of stuff going on. You know the patient, right? The ones that we get all the time. And so this patient is he's a friend and I love him to death. And I really want to help. And so I did like the stealth pathogen protocol. We did that for a little while and he got better, but not all the way better. So then that tells me, okay, that's part of it, but it's not all of it. So now I'm thinking, is it mold? Is it Lyme? Is there another bacteria? Do I need to do a parasite? Do I, where am I going to go look? Is it mitochondrial problem? Is it toxicity problem? So I'm, adrenals, what's the problem? So I started going, and this is like a side note here. This is what happens sometimes when you help friends. Have you ever done this where you're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll help you. When they don't go through your normal new patient process, sometimes things kind of get dropped. Do you ever do that? I do, because they're not in my normal like follow-up and how do we follow up with patients, and they're not in my system. So I lose them and then I forget, and then months go by and I don't talk to them for a while. And so I don't do that anymore. But anyway, this particular patient got better, then didn't. Then he finally said, I think I'm just going to take a break for a while. And he goes, I've taken this supplements for like 4 or 5 months and I'm better, but I just need to take a break. I said, okay, great, no problem. Well, then he takes a break, and about 2 or 3 weeks after he takes a break, he starts breaking out rashes and he's got bumps and he's got like his nipple is really itchy and groin itchy and he's getting little skin bumps that are really itchy. I'm like, oh boy. I said, well, when did this start? He tells me about it. And he said, well, it started kind of within a few weeks after I stopped the last time. I was like, okay, well, that's a clue. So I was thinking, okay, how do I keep this from happening again? How do I create structure? He'll do whatever I tell him to do. But I realized that I was missing some structure, like myself. I wasn't exactly sure what my next steps were, but I knew the general direction that I needed to go. But I also found, because he kind of was outside my normal protocol or outside my new patient flow, I thought, okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to put a box or a container around this. What can I do to create more structure? And so this is where this whole process kind of has evolved from, is with him, and it's working great. So here's the problem. And this was my problem, right? I have too many different directions. I'm thinking about too many different things. Do I need a detox? Do we need to do a liver cleanse? Do I need to do parasite? And I didn't have a real plan. And so he got frustrated, not at me, but just because he's not better, and me too. So this is why I found that this month by month protocol, it's a plan, really. It really, really works because what it does is it forces me to get real clear about what we're going to do over the next 4 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. But it forces me to get clear. I'm not like shooting at dart. I'm not shooting randomly at dartboard, getting one time I hit the target and the next time I'm out next to the edge. I really want to be concise. But the other reason this worked really well is his feedback to me was, I feel so much better. Because he didn't feel safe. It wasn't that he didn't trust me, but he didn't feel safe because I'm just telling him, well, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And I know where I'm going, but he didn't know. And so it built trust. He could kind of sit back, relax. And if I said, we're going to take a month and we're going to do X, he's like, okay, I'm good. I can do that for a month because he understood and I kind of devised this like a little 4-part formula, but he understood what we were doing. And then month 2, we're going to do that. I said, we're only going to build out the first couple months, probably going to be 4 to 6 months, and then we're going to reevaluate. But I said, I'm going to give you the first 2, maybe 3 months. And then we may have to make some course corrections, but at least this way we know what we're doing for the next month or 2. So it made him it really did build trust and confidence. He had confidence in me and he had confidence in what I had written out for him. And it allowed him to get some small wins. I know you've got to give them something that's going to get them a clinical win right in the beginning. And that's part of building your practice, building your authority in your area of expertise is a better way to say it. We want to give them the small wins. We want to do the things that are going to go, oh my gosh, I worked with Dr. Joe and it was amazing. My sugar cravings were gone within 10 days. So we want to get those little wins for them. But it also is going to improve compliance. They're going to be more compliant because they have a plan and it supports their natural physiology. In other words, we can't rebuild Rome in a day. We've all tried it. It doesn't work. You can't, we give them 10 supplements to take. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. They get overwhelmed too fast. So let's talk about the anatomy of this monthly plan, this protocol plan. You could call it a health plan. You could call it a protocol plan. You could call it a protocol journey. I don't care what you call it, but it has 4 kind of key elements. You could add a 5th, but I think 4 is good. So the first one is the area of focus or the goal. So it's kind of you could break it into a goal and a focus, but I kind of think those are much the same thing. So the goal or the focus is what are we trying to accomplish? In other words, what are we working on during this month? So maybe we are going to work on reducing inflammation, or we're going to work on improving elimination, or maybe detoxification, or we're working on calming the nervous system, or maybe we're working on, like energy. Whatever it might be, that's your goal or focus for the month. And you want to be really clear, but again, we cannot rebuild Rome in a day. So you pick for this 1 month, this is like month number 1, what are we doing? What is our focus that we're going to work on? The second thing we want to write down is, obviously, what are the dietary shifts that they're going to be making? Because everyone needs to make dietary shifts. Might be add in more vegetables, take away grains, remove sugar, reduce your caffeine, whatever it is, eat more coconut, whatever you think, more fat, do paleo, do whatever you want to do. But what are their dietary goals for that month? Because we can't give them they can't make all those dietary changes at one time. People don't know how to cook. They don't know how to eat. They don't know how to feed themselves. So we want to make sure that we're giving them in little bite-sized pieces, right? So that's the dietary shift. What are they going to start doing or continue to do with their food? The next category is the supplements. What are the supplements that we're going to give them? Now, you can list out the individual supplements here, or you could list them by category. For instance, if you want to think about elimination, we're going to put, elimination support supplements, something for elimination, something for stress, something for mood, and something for detoxification. Or you can list out the supplements. That's kind of item number 4. And then the last one is lifestyle. And we forget that often. It's kind of a, oh, well, and don't forget, try and get some exercise or try and walk. This way, it allows you to get it down on paper. You have it written down. These are the things I want you to do. I want you to start doing dry skin brushing, or I want you to get regular movement. I want you to walk every day. And even if it's just a couple blocks to start with, do that. But walk every day, or do castor oil packs, infrared sauna, or sleep, no blue light for an hour before bed, or something like a breath work, meditation, whatever it is. But it allows you to put a few things down so that, again, we don't overwhelm them. We can't give them all the things at one time. So for example, I've got some notes here, and I wrote up a protocol or a plan for you. So this could be an example for you. For instance, let's say our goal/focus is to reduce inflammation and increase elimination and reduce maybe stress. We're going to work, or maybe it's gut. Let's do that, because inflammation, elimination, and gut health, those kind of go together, right? So I'm going to write those down as our goal/focus for month number 1, okay? Now for diet, I might say, listen, this month, because they're constipated, improve hydration, and with salt, and maybe add some lemon water every day. Because I know that if they get lemon, maybe some lemon with some olive oil, you could blend that up. We're going to get some hydration in, we're going to get those minerals in. So I might tell them to do that. The diet-wise, I might say, I want you to add more steamed veggies in your diet so that I'm not giving them a lot of raw stuff if they've got some gut issues going on. And then maybe I want them to add bone broth. And that might be it. And then maybe get off wheat, because I think the wheat might be causing the constipation. So I've got 4 simple things, right? Improve hydration, add more steamed veggies, drink bone broth, and eliminate wheat. Okay, that's easy, right? Month 1. That's not too tall of an order. Like I could do that. The next category number 3, is the supplements. So I might want to do bitters or Digest Forte or something like that. I might, because they're constipated, I always think of not only the microbiome, but I'm also thinking about bile. So I've got them drinking bone broth. I might add maybe some kind of a bowel mover like Colax or bowel mover from Cellcore or something like that to see if I can kind of get things going again. But I also might want to add in a probiotic, or I might want to add in fiber once they start going, not until they start going. So supplements, think through what the supplements might be. And I may want to do a 21-day purification, or I start with maybe a gentle form of that, because if they're constipated, we don't want to jump right into a detox. But I might say, maybe low dose of some liver support, like Lividetoxin support or Liviplex or something like that. So I might do that. That might be my supplement. And then lastly, I've got lifestyle. So my lifestyle is going to be castor oil pack over the abdomen. That'll get the bowel moving. I want them to do some breathing, because I know that's going to help the bowel. And maybe some Epsom salt baths and 8 hours of sleep. I don't know. You get the point, right? So it's real simple. It's just 4 things. The goal or focus of the month. What are we going to do with their diet? What are we going to do with supplements? And what are we going to do with lifestyle? Really, really simple. So now you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's a lot for me to think about. Well, here's the thing. AI saves the day, as usual. So I've been tweaking a prompt for AI to help me do this. Now you might say, well, how is AI going to know what supplements and all that? I'm not saying the AI, whatever AI you use, is going to get it right 100% of the time and the first time. But my goodness, if AI can get it to 80%, you just saved yourself a whole bunch of time, my friend. So here's the prompt. I'm going to read it to you and kind of talk you through it as I go. But I have a resource for you. You can download it, and it's got this exact prompt in it. Plus, I wrote out a full 3-month protocol for a certain female. And so you can see, like, I gave context about the person in the resource. I gave context about the person, and then I also gave you the prompt. So when we're done, well, you can go there. It's rondanelson.com/protocol plan. So it's kind of planning the protocol, the month-by-month protocol. So protocol plan. So here's what we want to do with ChatGPT or whatever AI you want to use. Here's the prompt that I use. So I said, I'm working with, and then you're going to describe your patient. Okay, so you're going to describe a 42-year-old female. She's a corporate executive. She skips meals. She's a high stress lifestyle. She doesn't get any exercise. you just want to fill in all the details. Like as many, you don't have to give granular detail about test results or anything like that. Just in general, describe your person. I'm working with, and then you're going to describe sex, age, and as much relevant information as you can. And then the next sentence in the prompt is, this patient is struggling with blank. So then you're going to include the list of symptoms. What are they coming to you with? They have fatigue, bloating, constipation, lack of motivation, low libido, have a history of thyroid issues, and they're on a blood thinner. Whatever's going on with the patient, right? Then the next sentence is, their diet is blank. So you're going to fill in information about their diet. Do you see how I'm kind of staging this out a little bit with AI? This allows you to get really good feedback back from your AI. So I'm going to describe their diet. This mom, she skips meals because she's super busy. And on the weekends, she doesn't eat much because she's taking care of 2 young children and she just kind of picks at their meals, whatever you want to describe. And then the last thing that I put in here, which changed dramatically, influenced the way the output that I was getting from AI, is I put in the transformation that the patient wants. So I put in the outcome they want to achieve is, and then I describe that. They want more energy to be able to poop every day, have less stress, be able to handle stress better, and feel like they have the energy to be able to care for their kids and wrestle, play, go on a walk, and really be, motivated and excited about their life with a great mood. Just describe away. There's no limit, right? And then lastly, I put, please create a blank month care plan with the following sections. Okay, so now this is your prompt, right? I've described the patient. Now I'm telling AI what I want it to do. I want you to create a 4-month care plan or treatment plan or a protocol plan, whatever you want to call it, with the following sections. And you're going to put goal or key area of focus. Then you're going to put dietary recommendations and then supplement suggestions. And then you're going to want to say use natural or food-based supplements preferred. It's not going to get them right because it's not going to know what you want, but at least it kind of gets you started, right? Your thinking cap on. And then lastly, give me lifestyle strategies. And then the last part of the prompt says, keep the language patient-facing and simple using a supportive, compassionate tone. Now, I know that probably sounded like a lot, but I'm going to read it back to you so that you can now kind of cement it in. So here it goes. I'm working with a blank patient, age, gender, lifestyle. They are struggling with X symptoms or concerns. Their diet is blank, and the outcome they want is blank. Please create a 3-month protocol for this patient with the following sections: a goal or focus for each month, dietary recommendations, supplement suggestions, lifestyle strategies, and keep the language patient-facing and simple using a supportive and compassionate tone. I'm telling you, you will be amazed what AI will come back to you with. Now, again, it's not going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be, because we don't want that. We want you to be able to recommend what you think is best for the patient. That's your obligation as a provider. But it's going to cut your time by over half and get you closer to the finish line so that you can then nuance that and create the plan that you want. Now, know that you're going to tweak this as you go, right? You're going to adjust it. But you might ask for a 4-month plan and you'll go, okay, I don't like months 3 and 4, but month 1 and 2 is really good, and we're going to start with that. So now you're going to go back then to the patient. You're just going to say, hey, listen, before, let's say she's coming in for hormones. You're going to say, listen, before we tackle your hormones, I know that's important to you. We need to make sure that your body is eliminating properly and we get some inflammation down. So that first month, what we're going to do is we're going to work on getting drainage pathways open, getting your liver moving, and getting that elimination happening, because we can't do anything until we do that. And we're also going to add in a little bit of support for your nervous system to kind of settle some of the stress that you're feeling. Why is she going to say no to that? You've just made a compelling case as to the fact that you know exactly what you're doing and what you're going to work on. So you take it a step further and you might say, look, this month we're going to work on having you drink more water, improving your upper digestion so we can get the lower part working and you can eliminate. I'm going to have you do some castor oil packs on your belly. I'm going to tell you where to get what you need. And then we're going to do a few supplements that are going to gently begin to improve your hormones and also get that liver detoxification going. We can't do everything all at once, but this is how we rebuild your broken house. This is how we get the foundation built so that we can really start tackling your hormones way more specifically in the months to come. No patient's going to say no to that because you were just clear, articulate, and they know that you have a plan. So if you're thinking that this, giving them this one big list and you're trying to fix all the things all at once, by using this type of the AI prompt and this 4-step protocol, like your goal and focus, the dietary changes, supplements, and lifestyle, what's going to happen is you're going to able to then communicate better to the patient. They feel safe. They know you've got them. You feel more organized, not like, oh, what am I going to do with the patient? And we've leveraged some knowledge from AI to kind of help hone down this process and create it out in a step-by-step manner. And listen, if you don't get good output from your AI prompt, it's because you didn't provide enough context. If I've learned nothing over the last year or so using AI, it's this. If I get bad output, it's because I have bad input. So if you're still thinking you want to just give them one big long list and kind of go at, figure it out as you go, I would just encourage you to try this on. Just try it. Just try the prompt. Go download the resource, rondanelson.com/protocol plan. Okay, that's the plan for your protocol plan, and just download it. Download the resource, grab it, look at it. I have a 3-month example in there for you, plus the AI prompt. And it's going to help you be able to just start to kind of play with the AI and see what you get back. It's going to save you so much time. But I think at the end of the day, you're going to find that your patients are way happier. My guy that I told you about earlier, he is so happy. He said, that's all I need. Just tell me what to do, what we're working on, and I am really good. I gave him some recipes. I gave him some breakfast things because he's a working man. And I said, here's the things you can eat for breakfast. Here are some things you can eat for lunch, etc. And he is just so happy, just completely happy. Loves the protocol, loves having it written out. And he knows when we get to end of month 1 that we're going to go to month 2. And that's going to take it one step deeper. We're going to go deeper into what's going on with him. And it's really, really made a big difference. So all of that to say, I've given you everything you need. Go to rondanelson.com/protocol plan. It's going to make your life a ton easier. So there you go, my friends. Thanks for listening. I love having you here. I love being able to share the podcast with you each week. And I'll be back next week with more information. Have an awesome week. Make it a good one. Talk to you soon.